Hello everyone, I'm really sorry. Finally got to get my machine started. Let me know if you can hear me properly at least. I'm not sure if the video is clear, but if I'm audible, then that's more than enough. And if there is a lag in my video, just ignore my video. Okay, so just give me a confirmation that you can hear me well, and then we can get started. I think system also had Monday blues, right? So again, we'll quickly start. Hello, I said hello, so no individual hellos today. Sorry for that, but yeah, let's start and let's look at our portfolio, and also let's look at markets and let's see what we have. But unfortunately, markets have been very bearish. Like the overall Nifty index as such has kind of stable, like is showing some signs of stability, but I feel still the mid cap and small caps are not showing that kind of a stability which Nifty is showing. There's been like huge cracks in the mid cap and small cap index. We've seen that in our portfolio. You've seen that in your portfolio. But I think we are probably, in today or tomorrow or the day after could be the last day probably, and before we head higher again. Okay, so don't give up yet. This market I feel still has some more potential before it cracks, and I don't think we are going to crack so soon. I don't think there's going to be a bearish market anytime soon. It's just a normal part of the correction, and that's my feeling. Okay, let's take a look at Nifty, right? So Nifty, if you see, I've connected this trend line here, which has multiple touch points, and we have again and again we are reversing from the same zone, right? So last 3 days, if you see, we kind of had a drop and then we're kind of going sideways now, right? So if you go to the hourly charts, you'll see that much better, and you also see a kind of a flag forming there. Now, we had a steep fall, and now since the 21st of October, which is since Thursday, we're kind of trying to pick up, and this pace is kind of stalling. So definitely there is these are clear signs that the market is not willing to fall. And remember, we have filled all the gaps as of today, so we kind of filled the entire gap. So on Thursday kind of did not fill the complete gap, but today we filled the complete gap, and I think we are all set to move higher from here. But the question is, what sectors will lead, and probably which sectors are going to lead, and will small cap and mid caps also go up or not. So let's take a look at mid cap index. Now we all know that we kind of had rejection from that parallel channel over there, right? So there are two lines here. One is this one, right, on the mid cap index, and one is the other one. Now, as I always say, trend line is subjective. Now, if you draw this line, then you're seeing kind of resistance at that point. And also, if you see small cap, we've also faced resistance at the same point. Now, whether we will go down or head higher, and no one can tell this at this point. But as I always say, until the weekly lows are held, right? So small cap index, until we don't go below 9569, 9570, I still think that this market has still some steam left before we kind of enter into a bear market, right? But what Nifty or what small cap and mid cap index can do also is to go sideways for some time before they kind of consolidate and break out and head higher. Okay, so that's also another possibility. But as I always say, individual stocks, you have to focus on individual stocks. The charts really don't help. Index can keep going down, but there'll still be some stocks which can head higher. And I've also had some, I did some short list for today to discuss some stocks today, and we'll also take a look at that. Okay, but I've not done my homework completely. I need some more time before to get the full list out, but I do have some stocks in place. Okay, now heading back to Nifty. Right, so Nifty, if you see in the overall trend, right, it's just a normal correction that we've been having every now and then. So even at this point here, I don't see any major, correction as such, and it's just a normal correction. Now, for people who are trading intraday, I still feel we can consolidate for a couple of hours tomorrow, and then we kind of have a breakout. Right now, a clear breakout would be above the levels of 18250. Above 18250, if you're able to close over 18250. That's the point. I would be really confident that we're going to head higher again, or even little conservative if you want to be, even if we close above levels of 18180, right? So that's the previous swing high, and even if you break above that, I'm really confident that we have made a bottom and we'll head higher. Okay, so that's the level I'd be watching out for on the charts. But remember, this is the level you want to look out for. So this level of 18180, right? Above that you can probably go long. If you're conservative, above 18230 to 40 levels also you can go long, but the stops as of today should be today's low, which is around 18,060 levels. Okay, but intraday trader, desire your stop loss, I will not really get into that point. But yeah, most of you are investors, traders here, positional traders. So for us, Nifty should probably reverse in a couple of days from now. Okay, so that's the Nifty view. Our portfolio has taken a big beating. I think we have come down, from, I'll just get this sheet. So we've come down from 28% to almost 17%. We've lost almost more than 10%. And that's actually, there was a mistake also which I did, which probably we shouldn't be doing. Also is I was really confident that the markets probably will not fall that much. And we kind of took 5 positions once our stop loss is hit, and we took 1% risk in each. So that kind of took us, hit our stop losses a little bit, and we lost around 4% of the capital because all the stops hit. Now, that's something which I could have avoided, but in hindsight, you can do anything. But what I've done now is, I'm not sure if this mid cap and small cap correction will continue. There is still a high chance, there's still every chance is there that Nifty might consolidate, Nifty might go higher, and mid cap and small cap can continue to correct. We never know that. So just to keep that in check, I have some stocks which I've shortlisted. Remember, this shortlist is not the final shortlist yet, but there are some stocks which have come in my CCI weekly scanner crossing 100. For example, City Union Bank is crossing 100. Blue Star Company is starting 100, crossing 100. Allsec Technologies, Ambico, right? Then you have Jubilant Industries, Minda Industries, and a few of them are reversals from bottom. Like Max Health is kind of showing signs that it's reversing. Probably it had a green candle today, but I'll look at the chart shortly. Then Motilal Office is probably going sideways since the last many days. Jammu and Kashmir Bank, and even TBZ, which is a jewelry company. So let's take a look at these stocks, and then we can jump into questions. Now, Network 18, I'm sure most of you are still holding this. There's no problem as such here. It's just a normal, routine correction which is happening here. So you need to have some patience. Obviously, it can, go sideways for some time, but don't lose hope. I still see that this is close to the trend line. And as I said, if you're a position trader, probably your stop loss should be around 68. So we entered around 51. So 68 is around 13 points, 30% profit. So we are still locking in that amount of profit, and we'll see what's happening in the coming days. Okay, so Network 18 does look good. Mahindra CI is also looking good. We kind of hit a stop loss, but I think looking at the move today, I think still it has a lot of strength in the stock. I'll also add this to the watch list. Gravita is probably going to take some more time before it heads higher. We'll keep this in a watch list, but we're not going to enter again for now. Craftsman, after hitting a stop loss, it has done really well, but you can't obviously get everything right. So Craftsman is also there. I'm just going to keep it there. Rolex is doing well, the only stock in our portfolio which is still there. And I think it has made a bottom on Friday. And, I wanted to cross 1155, and then once we trail a stop loss above, then we can look at adding more. But for now, I'm not going to add any more Rolex rings. I will keep it, still as it is now. Okay, the few other stocks which I spoke about is City Union Bank. Now, City Union Bank, if you watch just long-term charts, now here, that's a symmetrical triangle breakout which you're seeing. But also in the long-term charts, if you see City Union Bank, from that low, if you just connect that point, you're probably seeing a trend line retest after many years of going high. It's probably retested the trend line. It's probably trying to break out now from a symmetrical triangle consolidation. Now that's the reason I've kept this. And also if you see this short dip, so last week kind of did a retest as well after the breakout, and today we've crossed the previous swing high. So obviously the stop loss and the levels have been given in the chart. Please go check it out. I don't want to really get into each and every stock levels, but again, another stock is Blue Star. Now, Blue Star also has been, consolidating since many months. Since March, it has been consolidating. Last month, we've seen a good move, and I presume that this is going to head higher. We've not seen a massive correction in this. The markets are correcting, right? So again, you buy above that high around 928, 935 levels, keeping a stop loss around the lows around 860. Okay, next is Allsec. Again, here, if you see, we're kind of trending in a channel here, and I cut my buys again. This buy above 505 levels with a stop around 440 levels. Okay, so these are stocks all which are looking very strong on the weekly, and that's why I picked them up. So Ambika Cotton Mill also is looking good. Again, you buy above that point. Today it had a red candle. That's not a green candle. A red candle, and you keep a stop around 17. You can check the levels in the sheet. The next stock is Jubilant Industries. Again, looking very good. It's kind of had a consolidation since August, since last 1 or 2 months consolidation, and I think it's heading higher. The only problem is this is a 5% stock. It has not had many circuits. Okay, so that's the reason I'm picking up the stock, right? So it is kind of trending really well, and it's going higher. So again, we have to see. We had placed a stop loss above a buy order above 560. If it buys, then we keep a stop around 470, 480 odd. Okay, all the levels are mentioned in the sheet. Go ahead and check the sheet. Again, The other stock that I'm looking at is Minda Industries. It's kind of close to the trend line, around that trend line, and buy above 835 with a stop around that, right? And a lot of other stocks, even this one, SH Kelkar also is looking good. It has kind of reversed from the trend line. Now this is CCA crossing above minus 100, right? So this stock. So if you see, we've had a nice move up. We kind of retested that level, again close to that level, and again we have retested that level. So this is one stock which I'm Minda Industries, SH Kelkar, these are some of my high conviction stocks. CB also is one of them. Okay, I'll send you the updated sheet before I sleep. Don't forget to check it out. The other thing is Max Healthcare. We spoke about this even last week. It's kind of still around the channel. I still think that this can head higher. You buy above 500, 355 with a stop at 320 odd level. Okay, then Motilal Oswal also is doing well. It's been just going sideways. In spite of the market correcting, this stock is still doing well. Okay, it has not corrected that much, and I think Angel Broking has been correcting, but this has not been correcting. So showing some strength. Again, you buy above that point with the stop loss at that point. Okay, the stock is TBZ. It has come on the weekly scanner, crossing 100 last week, and again, if you see, it has been doing a nice consolidation since Jan, and also on the long-term charts, it's close to a trend line, right? So this is also another stock I'm focusing on, and probably can do well. Also, Jammu and Kashmir Bank is also CCA daily above 100. If you see, we had a similar pattern there. It's just kind of close to that trend line support there. It's kind of reversing. Also, in the long-term charts, Jammu and Kashmir Bank also is looking very good. So these are some of the stocks that I've scanned till now. There is still some more work that I have to do, but do check out the Telegram channel for updates. I'm not going to post on Twitter. It'll be for people who are following this series. It's on Telegram updates. Okay, so these are stocks that I have. Now remember one thing, we have hit continuous stops and we've lost 10% of our capital, and at this point all the stop losses here that I've kept, all the quantities that I've decided here is based on 0.5%. Now if you see, I've modified that to 0.005 and I multiply that by the capital, right? The capital that we have. So as of now, we are risking only 0.5% capital per trade, and I am not going to risk more than 2.5% of my capital. So which means I let 5 trades trigger, and once 5 trades trigger, I'm going to cancel all the other remaining GTTs. Now remember, we have kept the buys almost a day high, right? Almost at the previous swing high or day's high. Now the first 5 stocks which trigger, leave them as it is, and remaining orders you need to cancel. Do not risk more than 2.5%, which means from 1.16, 2.5%, if we lose, so we're going to come back to 1.14, right? Now if all these 5 stops trigger, which means after they buy, they trigger, which means the market is really weak, and then I'm going to move my stop loss to my risk per capital to risk per stock to 0.25%. Now this is very important, because as and when you keep losing your capital, you need to reduce your risk per trade, because there can be a situation where we have sideways markets and you can get your stops continuously triggered, and by the time if you keep having 1%, then by the time you lose 10 trades, you lose 10% of your capital. But now what I have done is, now I reduce my capital to 0.5%, which means I can take as many as, even if I lose 20 trades, I'm going to lose only 10% of my capital, right? So, but if I lose, probably 5 trades, I'm going to lose only 2.5% of my capital, right? So once we lose another 5 trades, we're going to reduce the risk per stock from 0.5 to 0.25%, which means I need minimum 10 trades to lose 2.5% of capital. So I'm reducing my chances of losing my entire capital. I made some money, I want to protect them, and that's the only way to know whether the markets are working or not working. Okay, so as of today, we don't know whether the markets are going to reverse, whether it's going to be bearish. But if it turns bearish, then first thing is reduce the risk per stock, and that's the only way to do it. Okay, so and one more thing, if you're an investor, still stick to weekly charts. We had a nice session yesterday. Stick to weekly charts, and get out only if your weekly swing lows are broken after some major consolidation, and CCI should go below minus 100. Remember, CCI on the weekly charts, unless it doesn't go below minus 100, do not exit. Okay, it doesn't really make sense. If you're an investor, don't panic unless you've bought at peaks, which is a very grave mistake to do. You should not really panic looking at these markets. Hold on to your stocks. They might do well, and stocks which are continuing to do well will do much better. You don't have to win every trade. You have to win just 30% of your trades or 20% of your trades with a good risk reward, and then your portfolio will be taken care of automatically. Okay, Okay, so now let's go to your questions. I hope everything is clear. If you have any strategy related questions, or if you have anything related to my selection today or anything that I've done today, please let me know. I can answer them, and then we can go on to your stock questions. Okay. 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 Maruti is asking, mid cap, small cap index is falling continuously. Can we buy this dip or more fall expected? No one can tell you that, to be honest, Maruti. All you can do is buy a stock above a swing high, and see if it get triggered. Obviously, the stock is going to do well. If not, then the stock is not doing well, right? So if your buy doesn't get triggered, which means it's going down further or it's just going sideways. So the best way to test this market is to deploy a certain amount of capital, reduce the risk, deploy a certain amount of capital, and see if it works out. If it doesn't work out, then right, if the buy stop doesn't get triggered, good. But if it gets triggered and a stop hits, then the market is not really, this market is not a market for positional traders. So I'll probably have to wait for some time. Okay. Thanks, Tom Catcher. Nice to see those comments. Okay, any other questions? Audio, video, all good. Thank you. Didn't confirm. Where is mid-cap index bottom out, sir? Maruti is asking mid-cap index bottom. See, for the short term, what I said is we need to look at the weekly swing low, right? So weekly swing low is 26,750 for mid-cap index. So until that is not taken out, I don't see a major problem. We can do a sideways consolidation, we can do whatever, but I don't see a major problem until that is taken out, right? Market corrections are part and parcel. The only thing is, since we have gone up so much, everyone is panicking. Now that's the only problem that I see, because people are panicking is because of that. Otherwise, no one can predict whether markets are going to go down further, going to go up further. All you need to do is enter a stock, and see if it works out or doesn't work out. Okay. Okay. Now let's see if there's some more questions. Arun is asking how accurate is Ikenashi charts. Can we use them for swing trading? You can use Ikenashi charts, but remember they're a little slow. Okay, so you need to trade with them and experience how it works. They're a little slow in terms of giving an exit signal. Normal candles are much faster, I feel. But for a swing trade, I think you can prefer, but probably go to a 4-hour charts, 4-hour time frame, and then you can take the trades. But it does help you try the trend very well. Ikenashi is known for riding the big trends, so you can use them. Okay, so any more questions? Naresh is saying with 0.25% stop loss, we will have a very small allocation to each trade. Even with winning trade, it won't help much to portfolio. What is the reason we are not getting out of market instead? No, Naresh, not really. Yes, definitely with a 0.25% stop loss, you will be, testing the markets and you will not have much gains. But the point to note is, once a trade starts running higher and higher, we're going to increase allocation more, right? So moment, let's say a trade goes higher, it made us a new swing high and it goes further, and then you has made a small consolidation. Then what you can do is increase the risk from 0.25% to 0.5%, or increase the risk 0.25% to 1% as well, and then make a big allocation to that particular stock which is moving higher, right? By that way, so you have 10 stocks, 2 stocks might go higher, and you're focusing on those 2 stocks and increasing your risk from 0.25% to 1% probably. And then you're trying to ride those stocks, and markets will not always go down. They will consolidate at some point, and some stocks will start heading higher. So that's what I'm looking at, and that's what I've told. Now, if you still have questions, you can come back to me and we can look at them. Okay, fine. Let's start taking your stock questions. Amit is asking, Hindalco and Adani Ports, what are the levels from it can reverse? Okay, Hindalco. So Hindalco is at a level where it's going to reverse. I think it has made a nice doji today. I think it has bottomed out, to be honest. But if you want to enter, you can keep today's stop loss as low and enter with today's high and enter, or keep a stop around even 440 levels. But I personally feel Hindalco has bottomed today. Now tomorrow, if you see a nice green candle, that's a final sign. Now after so many red candles around a support, if you see a doji, and tomorrow if you see a green candle, that's the sign of bottoming out. Now remember, always, we need to have a stop, because there is still a chance that this stock can go tomorrow high and then it can break and come back below. Okay, so that's why I say keep a stop loss always, but I think it has kind of bottomed out. That's my feeling. Yeah, but keep a stop loss and you can go ahead and take a trade. Okay, so hopefully it reverses tomorrow. Okay, Adani Ports. Adani Ports has still not broken the swing low, right? So it's still doing well. I think Adani Ports also has bottomed out probably. That's what I said. Today is the day that markets have bottomed out. That's my feeling, and especially the large cap index stocks probably would have bottomed as well. Now again, if you see here, note the action, right? So after 4 days of red candle, we have formed a nice wick on the lower side of this particular stock, and we've kind of reversed from the trend line, right? So not a perfect trend line to be honest, but I think this has also made a bottom, and I think we can head higher in Adani Ports as well. Keep a stop around 720, 720 or 2020 or odd levels, and try going long. If it works out, good. But this is the best time to try going long because the risk reward is right now in our favor to go long. Right, any stock near trendline support or horizontal supports, best time to go long with a very small risk. Okay. Okay, Orissa Mine and Venki's. I think Orissa Mine, I've not checked this since long. Yeah, it's also bearish, right? So probably, yeah, it's in fact bearish. It has broken a major support here around 2650. I think it is probably heading lower for some time, or it's going to consolidate for some more time, right? So that was a major support there around 2650 horizontal support, and also there was a trend line support there. So probably it's going to consolidate for some time. Yeah, I'd not really be interested in this stock right now, okay, unless it comes back above again. So Venki's is close to a weekly major support, right? We did have that breakdown there, but I think unless it doesn't go below 2,400 levels, I think still it can do well. It is not, showing a structure like Orissa Minerals. So try to keep it, if you're holding 2,400 as a stop loss for an investor, but positional traders, give it some time, let it recover, and then you can enter. Don't enter right now because it's in a very strong downtrend. It can continue going sideways for some more time. That's why I don't prefer entering stocks once they break swing low. But on the weekly chart, still there is some possibility it can reverse. Okay. Okay. What are the questions? Can I share your view on Orient Pro solution and big block? So Orient Pro. Let's take a look at it. Orient Pro is just going sideways, right? So it can still head higher. Keep a stop around 185. Can still head higher, just going sideways. So this is the difference, right? So Venki's, if you observed, Venki's is just forming red candles. It's going lower and lower. Now this is going sideways. Now these are stocks that you have to focus on in this market recovery. If the market recovers, these are stocks that are going to perform well because there's not much selling which has happened, right? Now, in case of Venki's, there are so many people right now stuck since they bought in the last few days. Now they'll all try to exit the stock, and the stock might not really perform, right? Now these kind of stocks, try to focus on them and try to buy them. Stop loss is 185. Okay, I'm not sure if I've heard of big block, but let's look at it. Okay, big block construction. Again, a circuit stock, that's why I've not heard about it. But yeah, again, it's showing strength. It's not cracked yet in this market. Keep a stop around 100 levels. Okay, NIIT. Guys, let's keep it to 1 or 2 stocks per person, not more than that. And it looks very weak, right? It has broken that trend line there. Now the major support is the weekly charts, right? If you go, there is a major support there, so it has to reverse from that point around 270, 280 odd. Unless it doesn't reverse, then it's going to be very bad. Now, but the fall today is very bad. It can't crack. A stock cracking like this, and breaking supports is not a good sign. So stay cautious, and if you want to exit below 275 levels or even 250, 260 levels, you can exit. But I think that this stock is going to go sideways for some time. Okay, RACL, Gear Tech and Gulshan. Sagar is asking RACL, Gear Tech. I think it looks good. RACL, Gear Tech. I did take a look at it some point. Yeah, I'm going to add this to the portfolio, right? These are stocks that you want to focus on, right? So it's very simple. Last 5 days, the stock has not gone anywhere, right? Which means it's not gone down, not gone up. So a simple rule here is I'm going to add this above 545 with a stop around 488. Now we'll add this to our portfolio tomorrow. I'm going to keep this in my GTT, and it's a very good scan. Now there are times when you don't get the scanner because this is already above CC 100, and we tend to miss some stocks like this. But if someone posts on Twitter or something, then you can look at these stocks and add them. So definitely I'm going to keep this in the watch list, and I'm going to add it. Okay, so RACL Gear is good, and Gulshan Poly. Gulshan Poly also is kind of reversing from that support levels. It's not broken that swing high, swing low yet. It is kind of taking support there. It's still a good stock. You can go enter this with a stop around 214. Okay, a good one again. Okay, levels to enter for Tangamail and Kolpal. Tangamail. Guys, we have to keep a strict, closing today. I have to have some other work. So we'll close in 10 minutes. But here, Tangamail, a good level to enter would be, levels of 1150 to 1020. 1020, 1150 would be a good level because there's a major consolidation there. So if you want to enter any stock, look for major consolidations. Okay, Kolpal. Colgate is a very slow stock. It's one of the, very slow moving stocks, to be honest. But I think there's a major weekly support around 1470. They can add around 1470. But keep a stop again. See where you want to exit. But a major weekly support is around 1470 for Kolpal. Okay. Rohit, Axis Bank is an excellent entry today. BEPL is falling and still entered, expecting to bounce back from support. That's not right entry, right? So if you're buying a falling stock, you can't expect it to bounce back because the trend is probably down, right? But if you look at the weekly charts, it looks excellent, right? So probably on the weekly charts, it's close to the all-time high there. On the weekly charts, it does look good, until it doesn't break below levels of 160. I think you can still hold it. But try to enter always in a weak market, try to enter a stock on a breakout, right? Now, this is another stock that you can consider for trading, positional trades, because it has nice trendline support. It's again coming there. So tomorrow, if you see a green candle, probably a good time to add the stock. But always wait for a confirmation before you enter. When a stock is falling, it will come and have a green candle like that. And then you have a nice stop loss to keep and then you can enter. Okay, but yeah, it does look like a good stock. Axis Bank, an excellent entry. Axis Bank has broke to all-time highs. I think it can continue to perform well. Axis Bank, ICICI Bank, these are showing excellent strength. And I think this can also do well going forward. You see, we've broken out of a nice base there and it can head to continue to head higher. Stop loss is 750 levels for the stock. Okay. Hey Deepak, thanks for letting me know. Thanks everyone for letting me know the audio is clear. Okay, a few more stocks. Let's look at them. Axis Bank, again, Jake, as I said, is very good. Polycab is just, after the results, it's probably just going, it had a nice spike on the downside, on Friday, but I think it is kind of recovering again. So until it doesn't go again below levels of 2120 short term, it's totally fine. But if you're an investor in the stock, I know many of you have been holding since low levels. So 1760 is the level you have to watch out for because that's a nice weekly consolidation, and below that you can see some nice weakness. Okay, so again, both stocks looking good. Abhinav, nice to know. It is stop loss. Okay. How accurate is Ikenashi charts? I think I've answered that already. They are accurate. It's just that they are delayed. If you know the calculations, you will understand that much better. LT, I hope you're referring to Larsen and Turbo, right? No, I don't see any breakdown anywhere. So it's still nice, forming swing high, swing lows. So it's still a good one to take on all. No problem there. Jubilant Food and Sonacom. I think Sonacom is a good level to buy, but Jubilant Foods, let's see. Sorry, Jubilant Food, you said. Oops, no, doesn't look great. So if you see, it has kind of broken down, right? So a short-term breakdown definitely, but on the weekly charts, if you see, you will have some nice support levels. So on the weekly charts, you can buy on 3030 levels or even around 2670 levels. So that's a major support zone on the weekly charts. But for now, on the short-term charts, it is in a downtrend. It can come below until 3210 also. Okay. Right now, I not buy them. Probably give some time, let it consolidate, and then buy. Okay. As I always say, swing high, swing low needs to form. Okay. Sonacom is looking good. I think even Harshit Botra posted this on Twitter. It does look good. It's still not broken this low. So it's just a normal correction. I feel it probably retest today. If you look at, there's already some buying showing up there. So I think still 545 levels is still a good stop there. You can buy at current levels. Okay. Tata Motors, Shubham. I think it's just going sideways, right? In this weak market, this is not corrected much. So that shows the strength in Tata Motors. I didn't really expect that kind of a strength there, but it does look excellent. You can add now, probably, and if you're an investor, probably keep a stop around 330 levels, and you can buy even now. Not a problem. Okay, Apollo Hospitals. Jane, Apollo Hospitals. Sorry, Apollo Hospitals. Yeah, so Apollo Hospital, this is a chart that I'm looking at. So, it's kind of broken the trend line, but from my perspective, trend line breaks cannot be really reliable, right? So, but that support is looking like it is taking support there. It can probably head higher again. So stop loss can be today's low as well, and you can take a position if you want. Okay, Monish, you have Heg at 2400. What to do? I have no idea what to do, right? It's your stock, it's your money. You have to take a decision. If you're bought, you didn't ask me and buy it, to be honest. But even if anyone asks me and buy, I don't really give suggestions. But have some patience. It should reverse in the coming days. It will reverse probably tomorrow, day after. But yeah, so your stop should be around 18. If it closes below, 1930 odd levels on a weekly closing basis, then I think it can go lower. But I think that the stock can reverse just going into a long consolidation, right? That's a perfect consolidation which is happening there. 1900, below 1900 is when I'll be really cautious, but just wait for 1900. If it goes below 1900, please exit. Then if you want to enter again, but I think it'll reverse from 1900 levels. Okay, that's my view. Yes, Rohit, I'll update in my comment sections. I'll update the Telegram channel. Suhas, Goldem is excellent. I think that's one of the stocks which is, I've been telling this multiple times. I think it was one of the best stocks to hold on to, because if you see in this correction, it's just not moving. It's like, there's a saying, okay, I don't want to really get into that, but it is just going sideways. It's been trending beautifully. Go ahead, buy the stock with a stop around 650 levels. You can still go higher. NIIT, I've given my view on BankNifty. I don't think it'll continue till expiry. You won't have such kind of a move till expiry, definitely. Today's move, I think probably, I feel that there can still be a move up, but I feel today it has made a short-term top probably because of a channel that I was looking at. But if we are able to break that, then we can have some good moves. But I think buying BankNifty at this point, after so much of moves, is on index definitely is not a good idea, right? If you look at that point, probably we are almost there, right? So if you delete all this, and if you just take the channel there, and if you draw that point, it's right on the channel top, right? So probably some more move before we break down. So probably can go till 42,000 probably, which is another 800 points, 42, 400, 500 levels, if I'm right. And then we can, probably consolidate. But remember one thing: there's a short-term trend line which I was watching today on BankNifty. So this trend line is kind of act as support. So if you take BankNifty long tomorrow, probably 41,000 should be a stop loss. Okay. Okay. SRE transfer is about to give a very good breakout. Enter today. Yes, SRE today looks good. It can give a very good breakout. Okay, I'm just going to SRT. Sorry. Okay, my trading view is hung. Today is a day of system not working. We're having troubles. Okay, I think I've answered all of your questions. Axis Bank I've answered. Abhinav, SRT transfer looks excellent. We already spoke about this in the last session, I think. Yeah, it's come. And it can break out soon. It is already broken out, right? If you see, it's kind of almost there. So yeah, keep a stop, go ahead, buy it and see if it works out. I think a good closing above that line would have been excellent. 1530 it should close above. Keep a stop around 1278. It can do very well. In fact, I'll probably add this to my this one, but it's a nice 7 months consolidation, 7-8 months consolidation. Okay. Masood, for long-term investment, there's no fixed stop loss. Keep a weekly swing low, a major consolidation on the weekly charts is the stop loss you have to keep. Okay, Naresh, MRPL is setting up very nice. I've already added to my watch list. We can probably look for a good moves in coming days. IEX is everyone's favorite, right, these days. So IEX it has definitely broken a short-term trend, but I expect it to consolidate around levels of 600, 645. 575. So these levels when I'm expecting to consolidate, and it might consolidate and then head higher, but definitely short term it looks bearish. You might have to wait for some more time before you buy. Boro Limited looks excellent. I think it can do very well. Both renewables and this both have given a very good breakout. It's just probably retesting today. You can still buy this with a stop around 210. It can do well. It just retest after the breakout. Both Borosil Renewable and Borosil. Okay, how about Centrum? Okay, guys, last couple of questions and then I'm done. Centrum looks okay. Stop can be around 29.45. Again, it has been correcting along with the markets, so just be careful. Stop loss can be around 29. Lukman, nice to see you, Lukman, here after a long time. Your views on TCS and HCL, Vignesh? I've told you this multiple times again. Don't buy a stock which is falling. TCS is falling. It has not stopped, right? Since the results day, it's just falling. Now, in case you want to buy TCS, try to buy around that level, right? Or you can look at that trend line there, right? So the trend line, probably you can look at buying. Yeah, it does look good actually. So today's candle is good. Tomorrow, if it has a green candle, then you can keep a stop at today's low and then buy it probably. But do expect that this might consolidate for some time before it moves higher. Okay, HCL again is looking bearish, right? So it is not stopping yet, and here I don't see a major support. Probably around the trend line, maybe. I'm not sure yet, but there's a major support around 1060, 1050 levels. So that's the major support, because that zone over there, then the stock can do well. Okay, MHRAL is the last one that I'm taking for today, and then we close off. Okay. Again, it has not fallen that much, so again it can if it goes below that, then I see some problems, but keep a stop around 195 and then you can hold it. Okay, so I think I've answered most of your questions. So I'm sorry guys, today there's been some technical issues, but otherwise I'll leave you here. Always trade safe, and don't forget to like this video before you drop off, and don't forget to share your video with friends. Okay, I'll see you tomorrow again. Take care and trade safe, and watch out for my message on Telegram. Do subscribe to Telegram if you haven't, and I'll see you tomorrow.